Hey everybody, welcome to Table Talk.
Table Talk is back, baby.
Yes, it's back.
It's a new year.
It's awesome.
How you feeling?
I'm excited.
Me too.
Excited for new Table Talks, and I love these.
As this is like the end. This is the end of January as we're recording this. I don't know when this is going to be out.
Right.
But yeah, how's the first start to your year going? We had an interesting conversation earlier about like, hey, we set goals in the beginning of January.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like.
And by the end of January, some people are like, oh man.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to the people that like start out with all the goals and they're like ready to go in January. Like,
have you made some progress?
I don't know. I think maybe a little bit.
A little bit?
But I think I can relate to the people that like have those high expectations and then around February you're like, okay, here's reality and I just need to embrace it and move forward.
Yeah, as long as we take a step toward it.
Take one step.
And it's not too late. Like, I don't have to wait 11 more months to start over.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then do the same cycle again.
Yes, that's right.
You know.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was significantly out of shape and I was working out and Judah didn't really understand the concept of working out. And he's like, why are you doing that? And I just made a silly comment about like, you know, I don't want to be out of breath chasing you around all the time. And he looked at my belly. He's like, you have a long way to go, Dad. He got me so good. He burned me.
Man.
And then he realized what he said and you know the purity of his heart. He felt so bad about it. He's like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, dude, that's why I'm working out right now. Because it's actually true. It doesn't bother me.
That's great. I feel like we're taking good steps forward.
Oh, that was a long time ago, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Years
taking
ago.
Steps forward.
I think we're taking good steps forward. You know what I mean? And I hope that, like, just keep...
Why don't you give everybody an update on our girls real quick, foster girls?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm excited to get into what we're talking about today. I'm really pumped about it.
Me too.
I love these table talks.
Yes.
So great to hear people's stories and journeys and revelation and all. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and today will be good for where we are. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So yeah, our foster journey is coming to an end, and this chapter is ending. Never thought it would go the way that it did or work out the way that...
Oh, yeah, twists and turns along the way. Nothing was predictable at all.
Nothing was a straight path at all.
We have clarity about it, and we know that we did our job, right?
We do, and we have a good relationship with the birth families, and we're really excited about that. And the girls have forever changed us.
Yep.
And it was one of the hardest things we ever
And we know God has changed their lives.
He has changed
and he'll keep them. That's
their
his job.
lives.
Yep.
Can I tell the story about the school moment? Really
sure.
quickly?
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes you wonder, you know, have you made an impact, right? So many people could think like, am I really even making an impact? And you just never know how daily, you know, planning the word of God or just daily normal moments are life-changing. And our oldest foster daughter was having a tough day at school, and her principal, and they took her out of school, and the thing that brought her comfort, the thing that she wanted to go back, have before she went back into the classroom was a Bible. Mm-hmm. And she said, if I can just hold the Bible, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I needed to hear that. And I pretty much, you know, told her that day, like, that's your secret, girl. Like, if you can just hold the word of God, even if you don't know what it says exactly, because she can't really read yet, you know what it says.
Yeah.
And if you can just hold on to the Bible, you know.
She'll remember that forever.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, God's deposited it in her life.
Yeah, how are you feeling about it all?
Complex.
Yeah.
Excited to get part of our life back. Mainly getting away from the corrupt court systems, etc. I'm just going to say that. Working with the biological families. I mean, that should be common sense, that should be the goal. But unfortunately, there's some roadblocks I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, and each case is unique.
Maybe that can be another table talk.
So it will be when I'm a little bit calmed down about it.
Right, when we're a little settled.
But it's complex, you know, gonna miss them like crazy, but also looking forward to a lot. And it's grief. There's complex emotions. You know, when you're a caregiver for so long.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
I feel like you're like grieving kids.
You know, we slept in, and it was awesome. The amount of stress that we've had to carry from this, nobody could have prepared me for. So
I commend and admire foster parents, like never like, or caretakers. Honestly, caretakers, foster parents.
Yeah.
You know, people that give up their life to care for others. It's not an easy job.
Nope.
But you know, it's one that has eternal value.
So what are we talking about today?
So we're stepping into a new season.
Yeah, we are.
In many different ways in our life, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
You tell me. What are we talking about?
You
what
tell
is
me.
next?
No, I asked you first.
What
you can't
is
push it on me.
next for Hill City? What is going on? What are we doing? The land? What's
well, we
happening?
talked to the whole church fam about
did.
this, that we are moving into a season where we are looking to purchase a building rather than building on the land right now. We're looking for permanence.
The
That's
right
the
next
word.
step.
The
That's
right
right.
next step for us. And there's a lot of decisions that kind of led us to that, but we wanted to take time and really talk that through today.
Yep.
You know?
It's good. We had it was such an amazing church service a couple, weeks ago, and
Feels right. It's the right thing for us.
It feels the right thing. We brought in our elders and people to pray and really seek God about this, not just make a decision out of like what is best or.
It's really good to slow down on how we make these decisions too,
right.
because I think if it's like, oh yeah, we were going to build and now we're not, what happened? And most people will fill in the gaps with assumption, and we don't want that. Like we've actually thought this thing through. It's a fear, not a fear, but it's a tension I manage. I can't look at the church family and say, I'm so sorry guys, I didn't think this through. And so we have up until this point paid cash for everything from engineering to rezoning and beyond, architecture. We've done our due diligence. We hired a firm to do
they were amazing.
Yeah, a feasibility study. They interviewed a large amount of people within the church who really get the vision and everything, and they basically do an audit of, are people connecting to the vision, and are they connecting to the building, and do those two things connect, if that makes sense. So I did my research on that. We hired a man named Vince Burens, who I think did a phenomenal job for us.
He was great.
Jason, who was on the project with Vince, tried to lead me to Christ in high school, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So there was a lot of peace with these guys, but they're relational, and one of our values is relational over transactional.
Right.
So we didn't want it to be about how much money can you give. We wanted it to be, is this the right step to take?
Right.
And we all came to a
in
consensus.
this season.
Talk about it a little bit.
Well, the consensus was that our church family really, we love the land and we know that it's a gift from God and we will steward it well. But we're more in this next season want not stability, permanency.
Yeah.
That permanency was the end goal. They love
Yeah.
Hill City. They love what's happening. They love what God's doing. But permanency is the end goal.
Yeah.
And
when we compared, okay, this let's talk about the process just a little bit. I mean, I probably interrupted you. Do you have anything else?
No, I was just gonna say, I forget how many months ago we showed the church family the building and how much it was going to cost. And, we laid that all out in front of everybody. And so after hiring the feasibility study, seeing what we could do and all of that. But so.
We found that people were more bought into the vision of the church than they were the vision of the building.
Yeah, which was really cool.
When I have individual conversations with people, I get that feedback, but I tend to think as a leader that not everybody is giving me 100% honest feedback. Like I operate from that assumption,
Right.
Like we all do that, I think, in life. Like, what are we holding back? But this objective process helped us to get all feedback back. And it was actually what was on my heart to begin with, because we predetermined that we were not going to take on loads of debt to get this building done.
But why? Why did you predetermine that? Like, what did that come out of, or what was the value?
Well, Proverbs says that the borrower is slave to the lender, and I'm not against taking on debt.
A healthy amount, right?
Right, manageable debt.
Right, manageable.
Right, like we have two facilities that we're renting out,
right?
And so if our debt payment is equal to the two facilities, but we're building equity, naturally that would be a wise decision to make. But the amount of debt we would have to take on would significantly change the scope and way that we would do the ministry that God's called us to. And it's simply because building costs are so significantly high, interest rates are significantly high. Even the way that the entire section of land is currently undeveloped, we would be taking on the majority of the utilities and those types of things.
Right.
I mean, I'll give this number because I remember this one. I don't remember all numbers, but it's just It's $1 million to just put a pad up there. That's it alone.
Right.
That's not a building. That's a parking lot.
Right.
It's a foundation. It's the utilities. $1 million for that. Okay, how much to build the building? And then when we looked at what we really wanted to do you remember remember what Chris Hodges told us? He said, don't do it until you can do it right.
That's right.
And we started to realize, well, if we live within if we live within the boundaries that we've predetermined, and that is governed, for our church.
Right.
And we should talk about that just a little bit.
Okay.
That it's not just us making this decision.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Right.
Make sure we talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
But don't do it until we would scale back so much, it would significantly change the scope of the way we did ministry.
Right.
Yet coming out of the pandemic, there are buildings for sale everywhere and long-term leases that could give us permanence as well.
Right.
Not that I want that, but it makes so much more sense from a financial standpoint and for where we are as a church.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is it because we lack faith or we're not believing God for, and we're going to talk about the land and what we feel like God is, because this is just the next step. This isn't the end all be all. This isn't just like, oh, we're throwing it away. The land isn't going anywhere. So do you feel like we don't have enough faith?
So I think, so a lot of people through the years have asked me the difference between, like, what's the balance between faith and wisdom?
That's right.
Right? And I think did God speak? Okay? God never told me to take on debt to build this thing.
Right.
Like, and that's why I'm like, I'm going to just, there's wisdom in the counsel of the multitude. And so the process we went through, I would have done that anyways, but we would have come to the conclusion of what God wanted us to do.
Yeah, sure.
And I think listening, it's like, you remember in geometry, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Well, trust in the Lord your God with all your heart, and he will make your path straight.
Yeah.
So the shortest distance is trust to get to there, right?
Yeah,
that's the quickest way we're going to get there.
That's good.
And so I think, no, I don't lack faith. I'm just not afraid to also lack discipline.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we can miss God's intervention because we have a lack of discipline, in the church world. And we've seen that, unfortunately, where we can say it's faith, but if God doesn't speak, faith is based on the word of God.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Right. So.
Right. Yeah, so it's not a lack of, I do agree with you that it's a place of trust.
It's a place of
God,
trust.
You've given us this, but you've also told us there's a next step, and we all feel really peaceful about this is the next step for our church family. We were given the cost of what the building is, what we could do. Yes, do we believe God can do it? Absolutely, but do we feel like he's leading us in the next step? Then yes.
Yeah, Proverbs 21:5, it says the plans of the diligent lead to abundance, but haste leads to poverty.
Yeah.
And so many times we can just get ahead of ourselves because we're worried about what other people think.
I was going to say, what do you think? Why do you think the world pushes that? It's hasty and everyone's just
because we're in such an image-driven society. I had a guy who came up to me actually during the richest, when I say richest, the healthiest is the word I'm looking for, the healthiest moment, I think, when things just started to be boom, we're operating who we are.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I've heard it's really been tough for you. I was like, really? I was like, who told you that? He said, oh, so-and-so told me, and you got all this going on. Jeez. I'm like, you don't believe that, do you? We're having a blast. This is awesome.
Right.
I think there was, coming out of the church growth movement where we all came, there was this there was a hidden expectation that unless you're growing by, 50% a year, then God's hand's not really on you. Well, now that all these podcasts come out, you see people who are growing by 50% a year, there also can be some pretty massive unhealth as well.
Right.
Cancer also grows, guys.
Tumors grow. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's not all healthy things. Right. Healthy things grow, but not all things that grow are healthy.
Yeah.
And so we've been so focused on healthy, and we're reaching people. We've reached more people in the last year than we had. It was such a good year.
Fruit. Yeah, right.
But the mindset is, because you haven't built, then God's hand is no, that's.
Just a
that's
heart
not,
position of trust.
Right. It's a position of trust. He leads us one step at a time.
And being disciplined in that area of not wanting to push or take. I remember you saying I don't want to take the will of God into my own hands.
Yes.
Right. And it's so easy. I feel like a lot of people are tempted to do that in natural life. You're tempted to take whatever God has in front of you and take it into your own hands and try to. And we saw how that worked out for people in the Bible. That didn't really work out very well.
Right.
When you try to push, either you're running people over or it's not the will of God, and you end up having to learn the lesson in the long run anyways, right?
You have a mentor who talked about, all of these pastors building these massive buildings, and then so they assumed it was the will of God for them to build a massive building, and the pain that brought.
Right.
Each person has to, I have an account before God and how I lead this church, and I'm going to talk to him, and nobody in the church is going to be there with me when I talk to him and give account of my account, know?
Yes. Yeah. So we sought the Lord. I mean, it's been really peaceful to know that.
Let's talk about it. So we have the outside. We have the feasibility study. The feasibility study gave the science to what we were feeling and what we were perceiving from the Lord. It gave good feedback,
like there were a few things that were like, hey, this is something you could work on as a churchman, which Zack and I are always open to good feedback, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That people have voices that speak into our lives and areas that we can grow in.
It was more like a strategic plan at the end of it.
It was.
Really love that.
It was. So it gave us that. And
we talked with people who've been there before.
We have.
A lot of people who've been there before.
A lot of wisdom.
People who've built, I'm talking about, from pastors who have churches of over 20,000 people to pastors who might have, when I talk about people, it's I hate that that's even a metric, but in the same sense, to small town church,
they've gone before us or in pastors.
Backcountry pastors.
Right.
Because everybody has wisdom and everybody has a perspective, and every single one of them agreed with the way we were looking at it. I thought that was amazing. So we have apostolic overseers, right? We have a group of pastors who are really charged to look after my heart. It's our structure. Every one of them are on the same page on this one. We have elders, an internal board of elders. Those elders govern the day-to-day affairs of the church. We have a staff as well. And we have got you and me, our one-eyed dog, our 8 chickens,
and
our
100 kids.
And
3 kids.
Yeah,
2 foster daughters, 3 biological kids. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah, so there's a process in place, right?
And we've got an amazing church family.
We really, really
And so
do.
we wanted to bring in the church on this process and really make sure that we were hearing from God.
Right. It just felt like God's hand was in it. It was very tangible. So I'm excited about it. And I know one thing you always tell me over and over again is, Lauren, God's given us this, and we're gonna steward it. We're gonna steward it. He's like, but you would always say, I'm not gonna become the pastor that I don't want to be.
Yeah.
In order to keep, you know what I mean? In order to keep driving things forward, or in order to fill a deep need that I have personally, that we would have personally, right?
Yeah, and
for
that's
success.
more what that statement means.
Right.
Right. I could care less what other people think about me. I want to do the right thing right away.
Right. And we want to please God ultimately.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
And you know what? There's no end all be all, this is the best way to do it no matter what.
No,
Every church is individual. This is us. This is what we feel like God has done for us. So we wanted to keep God's church in a position of strength.
Love that.
Right?
We have a heart to give.
And
and to be ready to give at all times as a church family.
Yeah.
Open-handed.
Yes.
Open-handed.
One of my goals is we want to give 10% of everything that comes in from the building toward, I've got a very special missions initiative in my heart that I want to give that to.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
From a position of strength. And sometimes
I've got to run it by our team, our elders.
Right.
That's why I can't just say it.
Okay.
Everybody has a little bit of breaks. Oh, everybody needs somebody in their life to tell them no.
Yeah.
And that's what our structure and accountability is for. Right?
Yeah, I love that.
We're not going to change who we are.
Yeah. I love that you said, you want to keep the church in a position of strength, because I think that is and I think anybody that's watching that would maybe this is something hard for people even watching, the subject of debt and all of that.
Yeah.
Even personally, when people are strapped down by debt.
Yeah.
It can be a weakness. It can be a real hardship.
One of the really clear examples of this is that if we're a family, or if somebody has $50,000 of income a year, and then they have $400,000 of debt, they might be able to survive, but they're definitely not going to go on vacation.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's where debt can significantly hinder the scope of ministry, the freedom and dexterity that we have. Borrower, slave to the lender, there's a lack of freedom there, and we don't want to let go of that. So how we do our budgets as well, we just finished our budgeting process. We had a certain amount of income last year, and last year was the best year we've ever had financially.
It's been amazing,
right?
Yeah.
In so many other ways, it was the best year we've ever had too. But we cut that. We say 90% of that is what we're going to spend this year. We're going to give 10%. We're going to save 10%. Okay, and then our budget is going to live within that 90% of our previous year's income. Right. So then we are operating let me be more clear. We have 10% margin, 90% budget if we just bring in the same amount of money we did last year. So we already have 10% margin, but 90%, talking about that 90%, we'll give 10% of that away. Actually, we give 10% of everything away. And then we save 10%, right? So the goal would be to pay for this in cash.
That would be
but
amazing.
we'll probably end up taking on a little bit of debt,
Right.
so that we can get there more quickly.
Yeah.
And then we'll pay it off.
Yeah.
And that debt should match what we currently pay for, all of our rentals.
HQ and Carlington, and so thankful for Carlington. I think in this season of waiting, and we talked about we don't need anything big, beautiful, and new. Like it doesn't. We just want something real, authentic, and spirit led. Like that's. Yeah. We know God will meet us.
Yep.
I can't remember where I was going.
So we had
a
prayer meeting over our house too. Why don't you talk about that?
It was great.
Yeah. Give me more. Come on.
I wish I'd have brought my notebook, because it was so good.
Well, we don't need to get into every detail.
Yeah.
But what was that prayer meeting to you? What did that mean to you?
It was confirmation that a next step is right. That the confirmation.
Our next step is right.
Our next step is right as a church family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And we talked about things that we wanted to do on the land in the meantime while we, while we have a building.
Yeah.
And
so is that a question that's outstanding for you? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a lot of people ask, because, think about Isaiah 40 verse 3-5 and how God's hand has been on Hill City. I mean, it's been amazing to see.
Yeah.
The seasons that we have walked through as a church family, and people have linked arms and hearts and charged the way. I feel like we have so many people that are just like this with us. It's not just you and I. It's a church family linked together, walking through so many seasons together. It's so beautiful to me.
Yeah, we're clearly going somewhere together.
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing to see the tangible fruit in our church family. Has been incredible. And I think that you see God's hand in it all, even the land and Pastor Jim and all of it. It's all God's story. And I know that I was even praying this morning about, our foster daughters, and I was like, God, my vision is so limited and yours is eternal. So I know God's vision for our church family is eternal. Our vision right now is limited. Even though we have big vision, it's still limited. He sees the big picture. And so I think people that are, thinking about, you hear about Hill City's story. People have come up to me that I haven't even known, and I've had a Hill City sweatshirt on, and they've asked me questions. So people know, they hear about the land, they hear about the story. And I think it's good to talk about, what does that mean? What is that land? Well,
we're asking the question, what does Pittsburgh need?
I love that.
Yeah. So
what does Pittsburgh need? Wow.
That land is, it's Statue of Liberty land, let's be honest. It is beautiful to look at, hard to get to. In the same sense, presidents drive by that land.
It's amazing.
Right? So I'm going to be very raw here, and this might come across a little bit judgmental, but I don't mean it to. As I think about what Pittsburgh needs, do we need the name of another church and another pastor up on that land? Well, I think our church can certainly function on that land, but I think that there is an even larger calling to that land and property. I've always seen it as a sending ground, and I have an idea that I'm praying through and working through, because it's going to take many. It's not going to just take one.
Love it.
And I want it to be more than just a church up there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And that's not. I don't want to sound as if I'm putting down anybody who has a vision to build a building.
No, right.
You know what I mean?
Think it came across that way.
Yeah, because it's what we're called to do too.
Yeah.
It's just that we've got 30 acres up there,
right,
of the best real estate to look at,
right, yes,
the most trafficked, driven by,
right.
And my values are not that people know our name. It's that people see the glory of God.
That's right. That's what we're believing for, that the glory of the Lord will be revealed on that hill.
Yes.
And that land is his land.
Well, that's what you pointed to when we were celebrating our anniversary, when you pointed up at that hill, which is crazy.
Right. Before Pastor Jim
Before we even knew about it.
It's a crazy story. If you haven't heard it, you need to go back and listen to it, because it's something that only God could do, really, in his hand. Like, it still amazes me. I love that, though. I think our land, our vision for the land has not decreased. It's just expanded.
It's expanding.
It's just expanding. That's all that it is. And in this waiting period, we're in a school. Thank God for Carlington High School. They have been so good to us.
So good, yeah.
In this period of waiting, we're going to be so thankful. But, it's a set up and tear down. We've been set up and tear down for a while. And it's been really good for us. But, even the guys out in the freezing cold this past Sunday, but they're so awesome. They're willing to do it.
There's a lot of camaraderie that's built there.
There is.
Like, I get a lot of people who are like, oh man, that's going to be really nice when you have a building. You don't have to do that. Well, like, some of the guys really love to do that, and I love coming in and seeing them do that. It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's actually healthy.
Yeah.
Right? But we can actually put our resources toward other things at some point. It's not eliminated, but we can do more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be important to talk about, in the next steps of the church, fam, what we need to do in the meantime. And that's what God spoke to me when I was in Singapore. And, just
I was getting all kind of amazing text messages when you were in Singapore. God was downloading.
There's just something about Asia. There's just something about Asia.
Yeah.
It's just different. You're in a culture of sacrifice. You're in a culture of where when we talk about, and this isn't putting down our culture by any means, but when you talk about culture, when you talk about sacrifice in the American culture, it's like, let me think of that. But if you talk about sacrifice in an Asian culture, they're like, well, yeah,
It's like comes with it.
Yeah, because a lot of the people who are living in faith, who they might be exiled, they might be, in various parts of Asia, they've experienced it, or their parents have experienced it, the mass persecutions. Like, that's what we do. And we've seen the faithfulness of God on the other side. Whereas I think in the United States, I think we are in a time where things have shifted massively. I think that we're in a relational versus transactional time. I think that we're in a discipleship-oriented time, and we're in a time where we cannot survive off the sacrifices of other people, right? People like us who, we're, what are we, Gen Z or something like that, or millennials? We're millennials, I think. Millennials, like, think about it. We're now the ones who are sacrificing. We're now the ones who've given up. And our kids will live off of our sacrifice, but God's going to call them to sacrifice. We were living off the sacrifice of the boomers, If you just look at it from a generational standpoint, without giving everybody's birth age away. Lauren's 2 years older than me, by the way, just throwing that out there. No, she's not. She's
1 and 1 month.
13 months. Yeah, 13 months older, but that's 2 years. I like to round up significantly. So with that being said, when I was in Singapore, I directly felt, I heard the Lord say, before you build anything, teach the church to rebuild an altar. The altar is...
I'm so glad you hit up on that.
The presence of God. Like, going to the presence of God in the good times and in the bad times and in the difficult times. Like, we don't want to offer an empty sacrifice when we go to the altar. And it comes out of Ezra. We talked about this on a previous table talk that will be posted as well, so you can go back and listen to that. But in the book of Ezra, they built the altar before they built the walls because they were afraid, and it didn't make any sense, but they went to the presence of God first.
That's good.
And so we're going to continue to go to the presence of God and build that pathway to the presence of God.
That's right.
And God will open up a door. I'm certain of it. He's going to open up a door, and we'll watch his faithfulness on the other side of this thing. I can't believe that he just got us here, but he did.
Yep. Yeah. So good. Rebuild the altar.
Yep.
And I'm so glad our church has gone, is going through that learning experience, and it's awesome. So how could people be praying? How could they be, anything specific?
Yeah, we want to pray that the right doors open up, that we have the wisdom to step through the right door and the right opportunity when it presents itself. We want to pray for we know this, that sometimes when the right opportunity opens up, there's a bunch of red tape behind closed doors that nobody can know about.
Sure.
We worked through that. The process that we went through with the land, we thought it would take 2 years sooner than it took, because just the red tape we had to cut through. It was insane, you know. It's like, okay, this is too much. So we're not gonna. I'm not gonna have that happen in this next season. Like, the time is now for permanence. So we need the right door to open up. We need favor with the township, wherever that is, and we have a clearly defined area that we're looking at, and we need to rebuild that altar. So just keep on going to the presence of God.
Love it.
Yep.
So good.
Hey, thanks for being a part of the journey.
I love it.
What do you want to encourage anybody today? Do you have anything in your heart as we close up? Guys, thanks for joining us. This is nice.
Thanks, guys.
Nice to just talk with you, LB.
Yeah. No, I think the only thing I could share would be what I got in my prayer time today, was just that our vision can be limited, but God's vision is eternal.
Yep.
And that, you know, when you keep your eyes on him and you don't try to take God's will into your own hands, it always
do it.
is better. It's not worth the fight and the hassle, and
it's the chief sin of man.
Right. Totally.
Saying, God, I can do your will without you.
Totally.
We're not going to do it. So.
Right.
Sweet. Well, thanks. Thanks for being with us on this journey, everybody.
Yep.
Love it.
Love it. Ready for more table talks and all that is going to happen this year. It'll be good.
Yep, it will. Sweet.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.